Cheerio. I hope everyone is well. So I'm not going to talk about murder tonight, but I'm looking for a good murder, and I think there have been a few. I just have been busy. This whole not working thing is killing me. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about Imane Khelif. That is the dude who in the 2020 Paris Olympics won gold medal in women's boxing. Yes, you heard me correctly. This man won a gold medal, and the sport, and the division, the way it was all split up, was female boxing. And this man has a Todger. When he urinates, he does it standing up. So you heard me correctly, female boxing. I do not understand how he was allowed to do this. But apparently he has taken a blood test. And sure enough, he's the old XY. So I did some research. I could find nothing that said his gold medal will be removed. And the women who, were shafted, no pun intended, will, they'll all get their medals. You know that dude for Penn State, who's dropping in the football polls. As a Buckeye fan, it's sort of fun to watch. Leah Thomas, big dude, very obviously a dude. He was in the locker rooms with the ladies, when they were at competitions where there were multiple schools, and he was showing his junk. That's what made the girl, Riley Gaines, file her complaint, was that she had to expose herself in front of that dude. I don't want to do that. Do you want to do that? Absolutely not. Anyway, if you look it up, remember, these are simply my opinions. I will put the link below of where I got this information and what made me think about it. But the reason the United States has Title IX was because us chicks, there were no sports for us. I mean, if we wanted to play tennis, do you remember that? What was her name? I think she was Billie Jean King. She played a tennis match against a man, and she got spanked. Absolutely dominated, spanked. The United States women's soccer team, our national team, and yes, it's hard to believe we have a national team, that a little teeny tiny portion of our taxes goes to fund women's soccer. I don't think soccer should be legal in the United States. Obviously, I'm joking. It's a great sport. It just wasn't for me. Do you know, when I was a kid, I think 5th or 6th grade, one of my girlfriends, Wendy Duncan, her dad was the soccer coach. So they convinced me to join the team. And I was a halfback. And I kept getting called for offsides. And no one would ever explain to me, and I don't remember the rules now, but you can't run you can't go that far on the field until that player of theirs has gone down that way. And if you understand soccer, you understand what I mean. But nobody told me. I had probably 7 or 8 penalties until someone finally said, "Did you not see that girl?" And I'm like, "See what girl?" And they explained the rule. Hello, why didn't they tell me that the very first time? Anyway, the women's soccer team played a soccer team of 15-year-old boys. Now, remember, this is the national women's team, the ones who, they get a paycheck doing this. They don't have to go work part-time at McDonald's or, deliver newspapers in the morning. They get a paycheck that supports them. I should have looked up what they make a year. But they're making decent money. These are all educated women, and I'm sure they love soccer. But they're not going to go play soccer for $29,000 a year if they have, a walk-in job on their position making 70 at least. And just a silly example. 15-year-old boys and they got crushed. They lost 5-2. That's crushing. Hello. But I think that Megan Rapinoe is one of those professionals that she's all for trans dudes. I don't know, is it a trans dude? Are they the ones who dress like women? If you've been watching me for a while, I have a child who is transgender. Transgenderism is the only mental illness that requires the rest of society to adapt and change as part of the process of their mental illness. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? There isn't some smart person said it the proper way, and I don't remember exactly what it is. When my son was in first or second grade, my husband at the time, his father, we decided to get divorced. And my son was in Fairfax County Public Schools. It's a hoity-toity public school system, lots and lots of money. Well, they target kids of divorce. If maybe there's a kid the school has found out their family's going through a foreclosure or something. They target kids who have issues at home. And they targeted my son and said, "You're a girl. Don't you really feel like a girl?" And now he's 25 years old, maybe 24 years old, and actually thinks he's a girl. I mean, dresses up like a girl. I refer to him as his girl name. He 100% understands the way I feel about this. He is not a girl. But I still want to have a relationship with my child. So I guess I play the game a little bit that way. When my son lived here, in between college, between, you know what I'm saying, in the summers, he acts like a dude. He has dude traits. He's filthy. I think girls have dirty bathrooms. Yes, we have everything in our bathrooms. Now, I no longer, but that I understand. But I never lived like a pig. Did you live like a pig? If you were a girl and you lived like a pig, tell me. Boys live like pigs. I have a 14-year-old. You almost have to wear a gas mask to walk into his bedroom. He's a dude. He's a boy. I get it. My son is a boy. I don't understand this. What's the whole point of this? In the WNBA, there's a dude named Brittany Griner. You may have heard of her. I will call her her. If you go on Wikipedia and look up Imane Khelif, the very first couple lines say, was a physically, biologically born female, something along those lines. But what it doesn't say is, yet there's no evidence of that, okay? When we were at the beach this summer, I was in the ice cream store and waiting in line, and in front of me were a whole group of trans dudes. And I took a photo of it, and I came back and I showed the family, and, the boy was like, "That's not very nice." I said, they had no idea I was taking the photo, and they did not have any idea. And in the United States of America, that is legal to do. If you're in a public place, it's legal. Prince Harry doesn't like it very much, but yes, it is legal. But it was crystal clear. I think it was 3 dudes, that these were 3 dudes, and in the ice cream line. Fine, that's great, but why wearing makeup? They wore more makeup than I've ever worn in my entire life. Okay, Brittany Griner. She's on a different thing. She happened to be, the WNBA does not pay enough salary for the women to live, and I guess maybe a higher lifestyle. So Brittany Griner was playing basketball for the Russian league also. In the off season for the WNBA, she played for the Russians. She got on an airplane and flew over to Russia. And when she landed, she was found with marijuana in it. And it was a little cartridge. It's an oil thing. It has no smell. I should have brought you one to show you. It looks exactly like a cigarette vape. But she was busted, and she was thrown into a Russian slammer. A couple things. I think that the Russians had to be tipped off. I mean, how would they What would make them, I don't know, or maybe they're just very, very good at that, at the screening point. But they put her in the slammer, and I believe I should have looked that up. I believe she sat there for about a year. And finally, Joe Biden, in his infinite wisdom, traded a Russian arms dealer who was an awful, awful man, gave him back to Russia so we could get our little basketball player back. Yay, isn't that a great trade? Well, the WNBA does not require DNA testing. And if they came out tomorrow and said that they are, brand new, they're going to require DNA testing, I guarantee you heard it here first. Meredith's2sports.com. Brittany Griner would suddenly have a career-ending injury because he's not gonna humiliate himself. See, I referred to her as her, and now it's a he. But if you've ever known a woman that has an Adam's apple, let me know below. It's a shame if you could take a photo and post it in the comments. But that's a dude. He's taller than everyone. He has the shoulders of a dude. I sort of have linebacker shoulders. If they were a little more, 90 degrees, but I have large shoulders. I get that. But that dude, it's shoulders. The wife of the French president, what's her name? Brigitte Macron, something like, I just said Macron. Now I've said it 4 times. I believe there's a lawsuit. Hasn't Candace Owens filed a lawsuit that old Brigitte is actually a dude? First off, I don't have any idea why Candace Owens cares if Brigitte is a dude. But if she is a dude, she's done a mighty fine job of making herself look female. I would be more concerned that Brigitte met the French guy when he was 15 and she was a 35-year-old substitute teacher. But a lot of those elite people, they don't have any issue with that, getting in with the kids and stuff. Valencia, they just had a fashion show, and apparently my best friend, Harry's wife, was invited, and they only invited her for the publicity, because here, now I'm speaking about it, but they're in the doghouse because they did a BDS something else, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, campaign with little children, and people are a little turned off by that. They invited her there, and remember, my best friend, Prince Harry's wife's focus is children being safe on the internet. But she's going to go dressed like a toilet paper roll and strut. She tries to kiss Anna Wintour, stupidest haircut I've ever seen in my entire life. She has the bowl cut here and it's straight down. Stupidest. And this woman decides what's cool in fashion. I think that's nonsense. Anyway, they're trying to do that little French cheek kiss. And so I'm my best friend, Harry's wife, and this is Anna. And they go. They can't get it right. Imagine being as desperate as my best friend Harry's wife. So people say, well, what big deal is this? Well, it's a big deal for a couple of reasons. There are over 25 national cases where, a girl could lose a college scholarship, a free ride or something, because she didn't place as well, because she lost to a dude. But there have been over 25 national victories where a dude beat the actual women. In California, some dude was racing against the girls, and he won. The second place girl came in 8 feet behind him. They have some track meets that's so close, they have to go to the video and things. It's almost the horse nose. But nope, he won by 8 feet. If I were that girl, I'd be upset about that. But in the big picture, I don't want to see a dude's junk when I'm getting dressed. I don't want to be dressed in front of a dude I don't know. The whole reason we had Title IX And it was overwhelmingly voted in approval by, I think the Senate was, I don't know. It was 88, obviously 88 to 12, but I don't remember, it was 92 to 8. It was something very similar, but it was almost 90% support. The House was a little less. It was 2 and change to 1 and change. The people who voted against it said, well, you're going to hurt the schools who survive on, money that comes in from academics. Because Title IX made schools, a certain percentage of the money that goes to men's sports has to also be spent on women's sports. And reality is the Ohio State Buckeyes football team is going to bring a lot more money in than the Ohio State Buckeyes volleyball girls team. But they've somehow worked it out a little bit. But another reason it was started, because this is going to shock you. Are you ready? I hope you're sitting down. Men are physically stronger than women. I know. It's crazy. And so they wanted women to actually have a chance. It's not fair. Remember the Billie Jean King tennis thing? Megan Rapinoe, she got her butt kicked 5-2 because they wanted women to have actually a chance. But so apparently things have changed now, and it's okay for a dude with his junk to go and play against your daughter. I mean, your daughter could be 10 years old. I guess if she's 10 years old, she's probably not changing clothes in a locker room. She's getting clothes. But you understand what I mean. A high school girl is definitely changing clothes. So I don't know why I got onto this. I hope I didn't offend anyone. But I saw Jordan Peterson say this recently. And you being offended by something I say, I don't know what he said. But then that means you're not thinking about what I don't remember. I don't have a lot of patience for that offense. If something bothers you, okay, well, move on. If you let it dwell on you, then what's the term that's living in your head rent free? It's silly. Life is so short. 2 comas under my belt. I've had multiple times where I'm waking up in my hospital room. Twice, I don't even remember going under the knife. And the surgeon has told me how lucky I am to be alive. So be lucky or alive. If you have a dog, and give it some love. I have a sweet little kitty sitting right here next to me. If you're still watching right now, I'm completely shocked. Hook me up. Hit like. And if you want to see more of my witty little stuff, hit subscribe. And I promise I'm going to do a murder video. I'm going to if I can't find someone to die, someone cool that's died, well, then I may have... Oh, I better just stop. Okay. Take care. God bless you. God bless this America. Toodaloo.